Garrett with Old Breed Outdoors here again with another iteration of our Field to Table series. And on today's iteration, we're going to do breakfast sausage. So as always, our High Mountain Seasonings kit. I've got an original Mountain Man blend. I don't know that I'm much of a Mountain Man, but maybe if I eat some High Mountain Seasonings breakfast sausage, I'll turn into one. But at any rate, this is the plan for today. Makes enough for 24 pounds, and guess what we're going to do? Make 24 pounds today. So, got that. I want to make links, so I got some these 21 millimeter clear casings. Same kind, it's really the same type that you would use for like snack sticks. If you haven't seen the episode of us making the snack sticks, go ahead and check that out. But it's really the same type of thing. So I'm going to use those. Reading through the directions on this, it looks like it's pretty simple. I mean, as simple as grinding 24 pounds of meat really gets. But so I've got about 8 pounds of pork fat, and I've got a few packages of grind meat here to make the 24 pounds. So that's been thawing out since yesterday morning. So that should be just about the consistency I like of thaw for cutting that up to go through the grinder. You know, if you've been following along, you know I like to keep things fairly, frozen for the most part. It just seems to go through the grinder easier. And it looks like reading through kind of what the directions tell you on this, one of the nice things is, like I said, it seems pretty simple. I'm going to cut everything up into the grind size cubes, fat and the venison. And then I'm going to put it all in my buckets here, pour the seasoning in, and just mix it all together, and then throw it back through the grinder for the final, to get that coarse grind done, and then I'll throw it through again for the fine grind. But it's pretty simple. Normally, I would use my meat mixer to grind after I've ground everything, put it in there, put the seasonings in, and mix it. But looking through the directions, it says use the cube before it goes to the grinder, and then grind it with the seasoning already on it. So seems like it'd be pretty simple. And then I'm not going to do the patties, like I said. I'm going to do the links. And I've got my brand new, just took it out of the box, sausage stuffer, the hand crank style, that I got for Christmas from my awesome mother-in-law. Thank you. And we're going to do that. But it's going to be an adventure here today. We've got a beautiful Sunday here today. I've been doing some yard work, did some turkey scouting this morning, and now we're going to get working on this, see how this goes. So follow along, we're going to learn together. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is cut up the fat. So again, if you've been paying attention, I've been using a lot of beef fat in my, I use it in my hamburgers, I used it in the hot dogs I made, and then all the sausages that I've been making, I've been using beef fat, as well as just my regular old grind meat that I use, for just regular, making, anything with, meatloaf or whatever. But for the sausage, I wanted more of like an actual breakfast, sausage type, profile to it. So I bought pork fat for it. It's a little bit more expensive, but I wanted something that it would really be true to the style of sausage I'm going to make here. So got the pork fat, and as always, I went down to our local butcher here in Fredericksburg, Virginia, Old Town Butcher, and they have locally sourced, sustainably raised product there. So whether it be beef or chicken or pork or whatever, that's where I get all of my fat from. And I have been super pleased with the quality and the price, and just it's a good little local place to do it. So, which is what I want to do. I don't want to buy stuff from any of the normal grocery stores around here, and I spent all this time working on getting quality game meat. Don't want to dumb it down with less than ideal fat content here. So I'm going to finish cutting this up, and then we'll turn to on the venison. Alright, I got all the fat cut up, and I'm working on the venison. So, like I said, I use partially thawed, so what you end up getting these nice little cubes here of venison. They're easy to go through the grinder. And quite honestly, I think they're a little bit easier to cut. So cut this all up, put it, and then once I get this last little bit here cut up, I'll throw it all in the, I'll get the seasoning out and toss it in here and toss all these cubes and we'll be ready to go. So I'm going to finish this up and then I'll be back. Alright, I have got everything all cubed up and we're ready to put the seasoning in. So like I said previously, the way the directions read, you cube it all up and then mix the seasoning in, tumble it all together, and then you run it through the grinder. So that's what we're going to do. Beauty of this is I've got 24 pounds. This makes 24 pounds. It might be a little over, but that's okay. I think we'll be just fine. So I'm going to mix in my seasoning. Now what I'm going to do is I have 2 packets of this seasoning to make this batch. I'm going to do one here and then stir this all together and then come back and do the other one. I don't know why I'm doing that. That's just what I'm going to do. Right, so I got that first packet in here. I'm getting that all mixed up and then it gets all the fat and the meat cubes, you know, mixed together as well. So when I'm feeding it into the grinder, that's a little bit easier. But it smells good, so I guess that's something. Yeah, this seems pretty simple. I mean, I guess I could have put it in a tumbler in my meat mixer, but honestly that probably would have been a pain in the neck given the fact that it's cubes and not ground meat and probably wouldn't work very well. And handy dandy little bamboo wooden spoon, or bamboo spoon here, works just as well. Alright, so that's the first packet. So I feel like that's a pretty good mix. And I can see what they're talking like. So I've got a really nice even coating on all this meat here. So I need to get this spread in here. I think this was a good idea to do one packet at a time like this. So just keep mixing here. Get this all mixed up. Make sure I got a good even coating. I don't lose any of my seasoning. Now, like I said, it's still, you know, mostly frozen. It's partially thawed, but as it's thawing, it makes some moisture, which is good because that's helping with the seasoning to stick to the meat. Okay, well now we're ready to start feeding this through the grinder. As always, I start with my coarse ground plate, and then I'll run this all through, and I'll fill my pan here. And then I'll use my other tub, and I'll dump it all in as I go, and then I'll be able to mix that all together in there as well. I'm doing the same thing with the spoon that I did with all this cube meat. So this is really just the best way I found. I picked up these buckets, and these things are just, they're a lifesaver. Instead of trying to mess with all these little pans and stuff, these things are perfect for the way I've been doing it here this year, and wished I had gotten them much sooner. So here we go. The other thing I find too, as you can kind of see here, as I'm feeding this through with it being partially thawed, so I mean really it's mostly frozen to be honest with you. Like I find that the consistency of the grind is just so much better. Okie dokie, well I got the coarse grind done. Really don't need to mix it much. I mean it's pretty well mixed. And it smells amazing. I mean mixing it like that with the seasoning. I've never done a sausage recipe like that. This is the first time I ever made breakfast sausage. So I have the fine grind plate on the grinder now, and I'm going to run this all through the fine grind, and then we'll be ready to start stuffing. So we'll see how that works out. Alright, well we got the fine grind done here and we're ready to start making some sausage links. So I've already got this thing set up, ready to go, sprayed it down, and we're going to give this a try. This is, you and I both are going to learn something today because this is the first time I've used this thing Hopefully it goes well. Biggest reason I wanted this was because using the grinder as the stuffer when you're a one-man show can be a little bit difficult. Not a whole lot of control, so it's just kind of fast. This way I can just kind of go at my speed. When I stop cranking, it stops stuffing, instead of having to reach around quick, push the button on the electric grinder. So we'll see. Hopefully this works out. We're going to find out together though. So far, so good. I mean, this is going relatively okay. I mean, I've got a lot more to go, but just figuring out this first run of it here. But I mean, pretty good. I mean, the biggest thing that's kicking my butt, I guess, really is just the air, making sure that the vacuum doesn't get me, But yeah, you can hear that air pushing out there. But yeah, I mean, it's going. And you can see I got these nice little links going here. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. It's going to take me a minute. Well, finally done. that was a long run there with putting all this together. So I ended up running out of casings for my links, probably because I messed up on one. It comes with 4 things of casings in that one pouch I had, and I messed up one of them, so I probably could have got the rest of this in there. So what I ended up doing was just making sausage patties with it. So I figured, why not? Sausage patties are always good to have too. So I ended up with a pretty good little pack. I mean, 24 pounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18 individually wrapped packages, and there's 7 sausages per. So this is enough for for the week for me, to make my breakfast before work. I take my breakfast to work with me usually and then eat it there. So, but yeah, that's 18 weeks worth of sausage for. I mean, I made these a little bit big. I mean, these are a little bit bigger, but what I usually end up doing is cooking these and then slicing them into little pieces and put them in my scrambled eggs or whatever. It's just easier to take to work during the week. So that's why, like this right here is, essentially 2 sausages a day. The way I made them. I could have made them smaller, but this for me and how I'm going to use it, this works really good. And then the same thing with these patties. Essentially, what I did is I made 2 patty. One patty is essentially half a week's worth. So I can cook these patties and then cut them into pieces that I can throw in eggs or just throw them on top of like that, or with a sandwich. They're pretty thick. I mean, they're almost hamburger-ish, if you will. But I'll be able to smush them out a little bit and then cook them up. It'll be just fine. So I mean, for how I'm going to eat them, again, this is just what works for me. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of work, but learned a few things today. I can tell you that the sausage stuffer is money. That just made my life so much easier to be able to use that thing. So much more control on what I was doing. So pretty excited. All I have left to do now is get this wrapped up in butcher paper and in the freezer, and I'm all set. So here we are again with another episode on the Field to Table series. Hopefully you guys learned something, or at least enjoy watching me learn something here. But first time ever doing this, and very much like just making the hot dogs that I made before. And so pretty simple. I like the recipe. The way the recipe was from going through the process here was way more simple than some of the other sausages I've made. So I mean, for a day's work, I can't complain. And I've got 24 pounds of homemade venison breakfast sausage to eat on for the at least the next 6 months or so. So pretty excited. Thanks for following along. As always, we appreciate your guys' support. Do us a favor if you haven't already done so. Reach down and hit that subscribe button. If you're enjoying the content, share it with share this episode, share our other stuff, share our channel with friends and family, neighbors, co-workers, the dog, the cat, your sister, whatever. Give us that like, leave a comment, and make sure you guys come back and check out more. We've got tons more of this stuff coming with the Field to Table series. You've seen at least one of our episodes of doing the actual, from the processed meat to cooking a recipe of some sort, and there'll be a lot more of that to come. So as always, again, thank you. See you next time.